Hello knitters, Faylyn from Strands Knitting Studio in San Clemente, California. And I have some classes I have on my needles and some new yarn. So stay tuned. Okay, the class coming up this Saturday from 12 to 2 is the Karen's bag. This one right here, the market, like a market bag, farmer's market, project bag. It's a great project bag too. So this is, everybody loves this bag. Everybody loves this bag. Everybody makes more than one of these bags. And so you don't want to miss out on this. This is just one of the most fun patterns ever. And part of it is the yarn, because the yarn's so colorful and it's so pretty and it's so much fun just to watch things happen as you do it. You use two colors. You can use one color or you can use two colors. The pattern calls for two colors, but I've done it with one and it's still beautiful because of the yarn. But you're alternating two rows. You're alternating two rows of one color, and then there's two knit rows in between this pattern. So you got two doing this pattern, which is a slip stitch. You're going to purl 4, slip 2, purl 4, slip 2. So simple. And then you knit 2 rows, 2 rounds, and then you just keep doing that. And so you're going to start at the bottom, and this is a square. So if you're coming to class, you need to get your yarn so you can cast this on and have this knitted up for class, because you don't want to waste class time knitting a square. So that's how you're going to start. And then in class, we'll be picking up all the way around this, and then there's some increasing rows before you start the actual pattern row. But by the time you get out of class, you'll be on your pattern row and you'll know what you're doing. So that class is, oh, and we've got all our new colors in too. So we have lots of colors to choose from now. It's just a really fun yarn. So that class is this Saturday from 12 to 2. The cable blanket class is starting next month. And I have 10 now. We've just got, our yarn just came in, but it's not too late to join. And I can take like 1 or 2 more, that's it. And so here's the blanket. It's all about learning how to do the cables. It's really about learning how to read charts, because everything is charted on this, and that's a really good skill to get down, because it's really way easier than reading the words, especially when there's a complicated thing as a bunch of cables, and then it just and we use a notebook. So I use my iPad. I have a app on it that I download my pattern into, and on this app I can keep my line highlighted. I can make notes. I can make it bigger. I can move the page along to help me track where I am on my pattern. And so so that's one of the big things you'll learn in this, is just how to use the technology. And it's simple. It's just an iPad and one app. It's not hard. And to me, it's a game changer as far as knitting and using patterns goes, because all my patterns, unless I can't get it downloaded for some reason, all my patterns are on my iPad. And that means I just have to deal with paper. Also, it means you don't lose your notes. As I said, things can be made bigger so that you don't have, just little tiny things like this to read, but you can get it bigger. And it just, you're not fiddling around paper. You can count on it. You can do all sorts of stuff on it. You can highlight on it. And it really is a game changer as far as reading and tracking your patterns. So even if you're not going to come to the cable class, you could learn how to do that, and you could just do it private with me and come with your notebook and the app, and then I can show you how to do it. So that is coming up. So I'm going to put the full information video at the end of this one, so that if you're interested, you can go, just after the credits, keep going, and the blanket video will be there. But we are starting. It's not too late. Our official first class is the 17th. I have one class starting before that, the 11th and the 10th, and that's your just tech class. That's getting your iPad set up, the app set up, your pattern in the app, learning how to highlight the different colors, because you're doing cables. So we have, I think the first one only has like 3 different cables in it. It's pretty simple. But anyways, highlighting your cables and highlighting things so that it's really easy to keep track of which cable is this, and you use colors. Even if if you're not on this and you're doing some other cable pattern that has a chart, you got to highlight. You're going to highlight the symbol of whatever the cable is, and then in your key, you're going to highlight that. So you're just going, this is yellow, this is yellow, this is what I do. Not 2 by 2 left, whatever. So I do highly suggest you even try that out because it's really quite amazing. And then, okay, so then that class, so I've got a spot maybe for 1 or 2 more people. And other than that, it's going to be a great class. This is a 1.5 year project. It's a nice long project. And yeah, so if you're interested, you still have time to sneak into it before we get it really good and going. On my needles is a little scarf thing. It's called Faylynnknits, Minninata, Minninata. She's German, and her name is Maschenfeen. See, I don't know German. I can't do it. Anyways, it's one of those small scarves. So small scarves are just everywhere, but this one is so fun. I'm just thoroughly enjoying this one a lot. This is so much fun. So you start down here at the point. This is a mosaic. This is a mosaic pattern, which means to get this right here, you're slipping 1, knitting 1, slipping 1, knitting 1. You're only holding 1 yarn at a time. Your stripe, everything goes for 2 rows. And then she's genius at how she made these things work. And you're not picking up any stitches. It's great. So yeah, so this is, I'm gonna make this a class. I just don't know when yet because May's sort of full up. So I will put this in the next week or so as a class. But if you just want to be adventurous, you can come on in. I used Chow on this, which is I think this is actually Cashmerino. Yeah. So, but anyways, it's a sport DK weight yarn that you're using. You could use these, but you're gonna really want to do 2 solid colors, I think, or maybe a speckle, but not much more color work because you already have so much going on. You don't want a bunch of colors running through this and sort of distorting the whole graphicness of this thing. So, yeah. So that is coming up. If you want, the links are always down below my YouTube for whatever patterns I have in the video, because I know Minninata. That's what you're looking for, Minninata or Minninata. Okay, we got our first summer yarn in. So this is called Trinity. It's a Queensland yarn. We love our Queensland yarns. They're amazing yarns, and they're out of Australia. So this is a DK weight. So you could use these for this. This is a DK weight, and it is 50 silk, 30 wool, and 20 cotton, and it's just soft, just so soft. And then the wool will help the silk and cotton not stretch out, especially if you've got a top and stuff. The wool gives it a little bit more bouncy, but you don't feel the wool. I don't feel the wool at all. But yeah, so we've got a lot of colors, tons of colors. That's what it is. And yeah, so now you can start your summer tops, and this can just be a simple little two rectangle kind of top, or something more fun and more fun to do. So, but this is our first real summer yarn in. And believe it or not, that's all I got today. Nice and short. Our summer yarns are going to start coming in now. Yay, we're so happy. And so you can start thinking about summer tops, because you're not necessarily going to knit a sweater. You can knit a sweater and be ready for it when it'll be ready for when fall comes, because we sort of have to do that. Sometimes we're actually knitting the season before for when we'd actually wear it. So you could be knitting a sweater so that you have it when it becomes fall, winter. But also it's sort of summer, and so there's just like simple tops that you can do, like 2 rectangles, and we sew them together. We can put some lace in there if you want. But it's summertime, and we're gonna lighten up a little bit, and then I'll talk about some sweaters and stuff in a month or so. But right now, tiny little scarves are good, because that's like first thing in the morning kind of walk. You just tie it around, and it keeps your neck warm, and just keeps everything nice and warm. And yeah, that's it. Believe it or not, short and sweet. And we will be getting our summer yarns in now, so you can come and start perusing your summer projects, your tank tops, your simple little rectangle tops, but some more summer tops for now. And yeah, so it's time to start really focusing on that trajectory because mid-summer we sort of start getting our winter stuff in. You know how clothing goes. You should really sort of be knitting the season before you're going to wear it. So like if you want a sweater for the fall and winter, you probably should be starting it like now. If you want something to wear in the summer, you probably should have started it in February, March, that kind of thing, because it is a slow art. It takes us time to make these things, but it's also fun just now. The weather's warming up, the skies are blue, the sun is out, and come get some fun summer knitting done. So that's it for today, and I hope to see you in the studio real soon. Bye. For this class. So this is an intermediate to advanced class. I mean, if you're an advanced person, you're going to totally enjoy this class. If you're intermediate, you're going to learn a lot in this class because there's a lot to learn besides just cables. But you're going to learn how to track cables, track a chart, and then be able to do all of this kind of work. It's real fun. Cables aren't hard. You just have to sort of pay attention to what you're doing, whether it's right leaning or left leaning. But you're just taking, like, these are my 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably should be for you. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to take 2 of them off. That's just one example. I'm going to knit these 2, then I'm going to knit these 2. So all I've done is change the order of the stitches. That's all cabling is changing the order of the stitches. So it's not like it's really complicated, but it's more about tracking the pattern is what's more complicated. So that's sort of what you'll be working on. The blocks are all different kinds of, well, they're not all different sizes, but there's different size blocks, which is why this, I think, is such a gorgeous blanket, because it's not just a bunch of squares. There's actually, it's beautiful. And you're making pretty much an heirloom blanket that's going to be passed down forever. That's why we sort of say stick to neutral colors. We are using Cascade 220 Aran, which is just a tad bit heavier than the worsted, which makes this a little bit more squishy and wonderful. You have several different size needles you will be working with depending on the different parts of the blanket that happen. And you're going to need either an iPad or a notebook of some sort that you can put an app on, and that's where the pattern's going to live. And I think I'm going to try to put up something I recorded before about this, about the app and having it on your device. Like I use nothing but my device, my iPad, for all my patterns. One, they're all downloaded on my iPad, so I can always pull them up. 2, it's like you can enlarge things. Just think of how you're on a computer. You can go like this and everything gets bigger. Well, like just even your regular knitting rows that get bigger. You can highlight, the highlighter moves, you can make notes, you can sort of move the page to help you track. I think it's the best thing in the world. You're not dealing with papers that get all crinkly and yucky and like, forget it. So I use my device all the time. I highly suggest you use your device all the time because it really is a game changer as far as pattern reading goes. But anyways, for this class you have to, because you cannot enlarge this pattern enough, and keep it dark enough to where you lose your grid lines. So, it's like a graph paper. So you lose your grid lines, and you cannot do this pattern if you lose your grid lines. So that means you're pretty much working on the size it is, which is tiny. And so it's just as a whole different experience using the digital version of it compared to paper versions of it. And yes, I'm going to pretty much insist that you do this. I'm not even sure if you got it professionally copied, if they would still be able to keep the grid lines from disappearing after you make it bigger. So we'll have the very first class really is just setting up your pattern on your device and learning how to use it. I have an iPad. I use Goodreader is what I use on my iPad. It's a PDF reader, and it's just what I use, and I know it. Okay, there's other things out there that'll work. I just don't know how they work. So I highly suggest, especially if you have an iPad, you'll be getting the the app Good Reader, and it costs $6-7, something like that. On a PC, I don't know. I don't think Good Reader is for PC, and I'll check again, but I don't think they haven't been. So unless they've added PC. You're going to need a PDF reader and one that you can highlight a line and move it and stuff like that. I mean, we can do it, but I just don't know that whatever app you're going to be using isn't one I really know. So we have to sort of figure it out together. That's all. And other than that, it all works. So if you're interested, call and email us ASAP so we can get you going. You can find the emails and the phone number either in the comments under this YouTube channel or at the bottom of the newsletter where you're watching this from. So hope you join us. See you soon.